Hello, and welcome back to JenHannagans. Tonight on JenHannagans, live on JenHannagans, not really.
Live. Not live, never live.
We were having some discussions, and if you're new to this channel, then you know that then you don't know, but you're going to find out that we have done this for
almost 5 years. 5 years, April 1st.
We just got done working out. That's why we look so red in the face. 5 years. We started losing weight on Weight Watchers 5 years ago. In April, it would be 5 years. And I've lost 80 pounds and been able to maintain it. Hannah's lost about 160 pounds and maintained it. And we've maintained for a couple years now.
Yeah, we started losing in 2019, lost most of our weight in 2019, continued weight loss through the beginning and middle of 2020, and then maintained since then.
Yeah.
When did you have your surgery? 2021?
Maybe. I had a paniculectomy. So there's also videos of that if you guys want to see those. Maybe I'll try to link them.
21
but
22.
A lot of things have, maybe 20 was 22.
No, it had to have been 21 because 22 was Dad's health. So
it wasn't 22.
No, yours was 21.
Okay. Anyway, a lot of things have changed since then. We started out with WW. We moved to Healthy, which is really, really similar. It's just a cheaper program. And we've also gone through
Healthy also lets you count calories.
Yes.
Not just points or bites.
I think WW might do that now too, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Still, Healthy's way cheaper. So if you're looking for that kind of concept, Healthy is a cheaper option. But we've also counted calories. We've counted macros. We've done all kinds of things. It's just to be honest, we've maintained, which has been great, but we still have weight to lose. So, and
obviously,
yeah, we've got a little bit of pounds left to lose. But I will say that us losing the weight and maintaining it has been pretty amazing feat. It's a very difficult thing to do. In fact, I should look up the stats right now because I think they're really, really low as far as how many people lose weight and are able to keep it off. So,
very few, and I was never able to do it before. So.
Oh no, yeah, and I never want to go back. The way that it has worked for us, how we've been so successful in losing and maintaining, is we have been really consistent about our lifestyle choices. So this is part of who we are, and not just something that we're doing on a whim or whatever else. Fitness is part of our everyday life. We've stopped eating sweets. We're on day 335.
As many as 80% of those.
As many as 80% of those who have lost weight through diet and exercise regain all of the weight that they originally lost. That is sad and depressing.
And that's that's from a medical journal thing.
So we've just been talking. So actually, we didn't know what we were going to talk about when we turned this camera on, but now we do, don't we, Hannah?
I guess.
Hannah's still don't know. Anyway, a lot has changed. And so some of those things that have changed along the way.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
When she says that it's part of our life, it's so much part of our life that if we aren't constantly posting on Facebook or whatever about walking or working out or weight loss, people, when they see us, go, so are you still doing that?
So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you, Hannah. So you did know. When I first lost a big chunk of weight, it was 50 pounds that I had lost. I became and I've done it in a healthy way. I felt really healthy mentally the entire time. But of course, those little mindsets and habits, they kind of want to creep in. And especially if you've had disordered eating or anything like that. But after that first 50 pounds, I was pretty obsessed with looking skinny. Yeah. I had, and I'm, I didn't realize that at the time, but looking back, I had all of my outfits had to be skinny outfits. So because losing weight and keeping it off was huge to me. So we're just being real. We're going to be super, super duper honest on this video right now. That's hilarious.
It's your kids.
My kid must have tried calling me. So that was one of the things that I always did. And I've noticed since I have lost the weight and maintained it, that I'm not as I don't wear all of those skinny outfits, okay?
It's not as important.
It's not as important to me. I'm okay wearing like just today I wore a gigantic corduroy 3X shirt because it's just so comfortable and warm. And I don't look skinny in it, and it's okay. But that brings us back around to that question of, are you still doing that? Because if you're not wearing the skinny outfits and showing off the skinniness all the time, people are looking for you to have gained the weight back. And I know that we just read the stats, it's 80% of people gain it back. And I think that people kind of
80% according to one article, it's the first thing I Googled.
But I think it is really accurate.
Every time I tried everything in the book, and I always gained the weight and more back. So I know it's accurate, at least for me. And yeah, it's a fun conversation when you're seeing family for the first time in forever, or someone who hasn't seen you a while, and the only thing they know about you is what you post on social media. And so they're watching you to see what you look like and what are you wearing, what are you eating, and they're like, so are you still doing that?
Yeah,
because
we get those questions a lot. I get that a lot about a lot
are
of
you
things.
Still walking? That's the most recent one I got is, are you still doing your walking thing?
We're gonna call this the vent.
Yeah.
That's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
But so it is a little I don't know, kind of irritates me a little bit. And
it's
so
frustrating because when we started, do you remember this? When we started April 1st.
Are you talking about when we weren't going to tell anybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
When we started, we didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
We knew. The people in our family knew, in our house, and they also knew to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone. We didn't post about it on social media. Nothing.
I really barely talked about it to my husband.
Yeah.
Like
my parents knew about it because I was the one doing a lot of the cooking, or I wasn't eating the same, so they had to adjust. But yeah.
So we didn't tell anybody for 6 months, and then we decided, you know what? This could possibly inspire somebody. We felt ourselves changing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of those things. And so we're like, let's see if this will maybe help somebody else. I feel like that was our motivation probably for telling people eventually.
Yeah, I think after about the 6 month mark, we had lost a lot of weight in the first 6 months, as will happen.
Yeah. I lost 50 pounds in like 4 months.
Yeah. And then weight loss slows down and you can kind of get discouraged, but had a lot of people asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? So there was a few people we were telling, but not very many. And it's like, oh, thanks. We were dressing in the skinny outfits and all of that. Yeah. But when the weight loss slows down, weight loss cannot be your only motivator.
Yes.
And weight loss wasn't our motivator to begin with. It was a big part of it, especially for me. I was over 500 pounds.
And I had diabetes with both my pregnancies, and my weight played a huge part of that. So
I needed to lose weight, but we both needed to for health. Yeah. And that was always the thing going in. Well, when weight loss slows down and you stop seeing the huge changes, you need to find some other motivation. And that's when talking to others about it, because other people were coming up going, what are you doing? How are you doing that? How can I do that? And so that's when we started talking to people. And then 6 months later, at the 1 year mark, is when we started YouTube.
Yeah. And it was really good for us because it held us accountable. It was a good way of holding us accountable. It was inspiring to people. Some people are still following today, 5 years later. Some of you are watching. But the thing that comes with opening yourself up and being vulnerable is you're opening yourself up and being vulnerable. Yeah. So you're allowing people to come in and say,
are you still doing that?
Whatever. And so actually when I got to a place, I was I'm smaller now than when I got married. I wish I still had my wedding dress because I would totally want to put it on. I weigh 9 pounds more than when I got married, but my measurements are smaller. So when I was not so obsessed about wearing skinny outfits, I was the smallest that I had been in all of my marriage. And I had someone ask me if I had gained some weight, and I had not. But what had happened is I just wasn't as concerned with every outfit I have to look snatched. You know what I mean? Like I just was not, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was proud of my accomplishments. I was able to I got out of plus size clothing, so I was able to go down to a size large. It was great. Like those were wonderful things, but I'm not there anymore. So because of that, and because we've opened ourselves up for people saying stuff, that's what they do. They say things. So that's fine. It's fine. We're not mad at nobody. This is just part of what it is.
It's just you can't hide what you're doing because you're afraid of people's judgments, but you also can't let people's judgments determine what you do.
Yeah.
Because if you took that comment and let it get in your head, then it would result in very unhealthy habits.
Right.
And we've gotten to that point where we have healthy habits. Now, I personally have gained about 10 pounds in the past couple of months.
And I've gained 3 pounds over the winter time, just like I did last year.
Yeah. that's completely normal for us, and it has nothing to do with anything changing. It's just sometimes your bodies change a little bit.
Yeah.
But like she said,
you have to show yourself grace with that too, but also not let it get out of control.
Yeah, don't let it get out. She never lets it get out of control.
We're not going to do that.
That's why our faces are red, because we got done with church and we worked out.
Working out.
That's part of life.
Yeah.
Walking, it's really sucking right now because the weather has been terrible, and yes, we walked in 0 degree, felt like -10 a couple years ago, but could not bring myself to walk in -12 actual degrees this year, especially not with the wind chill. So there are things that change, and you have to adjust, but it's part of our life.
Yeah.
Water is a daily thing. I couldn't tell you how much water I drink, because water is pretty much all I drink, unless it's coffee.
Yeah.
You know, eating vegetables is a normal thing. So your habits change, and our habits are still changing. There are still things that we're adjusting, still things that we're doing.
Well, we went that entire time after being on WW and being unhealthy, still eating sweets. Like I would have, like, Saturdays were normally the day where I would call them a high point day, because we would end up eating higher point foods. And so a lot of that was, sweets. So
my favorite water cup.
So we with part of those changes that have happened over the years is that we decided that we needed to let sweets go. For myself, I am not probably ever going back to, I know I'm not going back to sweets. There's no point to it. And Hannah is working on cutting out flour things for however long she feels that is right for her. So things are different for us. There's something I was going to say about the we were talking about that little bit of weight gain. That's something else that we've noticed, we've changed. We've, when we first started losing weight, like, there was no grace. There was no, it was all very physical at first. Like, we cared about our health, but mentally we had to change some things. But the weight gain over the winter time. So I track my weight every week for the most part. So, and I have all of that way back to when we started, because I actually had to give that to my doctor for my paniculectomy. So looking back, I could see the habits, like the ways that everything,
you see the graph,
the trend. So the trend for me is to gain about 3 or 5 pounds over the winter time, and then I'm at my very lowest during the summer. And so that's something that sometimes we get so caught up in every little number, like every little pound gained or pound lost. And I couldn't do that to myself. I have to realize, like, I'm a woman. I have 6 children. There's like so many things that go on.
The number,
wintertime, summertime.
Numbers.
You have to let your body ebb and flow, because that's what we were created to do. We were created to change. And so that's something that I've had to come to grips with and be okay with, that, that extra. And I'm also not as toned during the winter time. So I'm definitely softer during the winter time than I am during the summer, for sure.
The numbers are all just data.
And we got to be okay with it.
Speaking of numbers, the numbers are just data, and they don't necessarily mean a whole lot. There are health reasons that you need your weight, and measurements are really good to take, because it's a good way to match your progress. But for me, measurements are not the best, because I don't know if you know this, but weight loss and gravity are not always friends. Because where I measure something one time may actually grow because weight shifted.
Yeah.
The other thing with numbers is I got really hung up, and I'm still very proud. I was at one point in a size, is it a 36 or 38 dress? I'd have to look. I still have it. I was beyond plus size. I could only shop at Catherine's. It was size 30
Catherine's
and above.
Almost ended our friendship, but that's
That's
another story for another day.
One that's difficult to talk about still. It still causes fights sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
I was size 30 or above, and that was hard. So when I started losing weight, I was obsessed with the size tag. And it's still fun. Sometimes Sunday I wore an amazing jacket.
Yes, you did.
That was an XL, and it was a little tight on the wrist.
I'll insert a picture here. I have one.
You do?
Yep. I have 5 of them. I snapped them of you and Katie at church.
I was wearing an XL jacket, and that's a great feeling. However, there are still days where I have to wear a 24 or 26 because of the garment has nothing to do with my body.
Mm-hmm.
So some numbers you can't trust anyway, because there are some clothes that she has worn that she has given to me, and I can still wear them because it's a skirt that stretches a lot or whatever.
Right.
Don't get hung up on the numbers.
Well, and since I have my pediculectomy, I can't measure my stomach because my stomach will go seriously up and down 2, 3, 4 inches in a matter of days. Oh my word. Not nearly as bad as it did. But they say that the swelling goes down within a year, and mine was like significant for, I don't know, 14, 15 months. And now it just depends on the day. But I try to avoid measuring my stomach if I can. I do measure my arms. I'll measure the smallest part of my waist, but I'm not measuring where I have a pediculectomy. It's just a mess. But anyway, is there anything else that you like to add to our vent session? Is there anything else? Because I know there's a couple of things you were thinking of the other day. Anything else we could say that wouldn't offend everybody? Like we want to tell you guys our secrets, but we don't want to make anybody mad at us.
Oh,
careful now! Careful now.
Here's the thing, and it goes back to people asking, "Are you still doing that?" Or people, well-meaningly say, "You look great. You're doing well. Why aren't you eating bread, or why aren't you eating the pasta, or why aren't you eating the cake?" We are blessed that most of our friends and family, nobody in our normal life questions it really anymore, because it's just who we are.
It annoys people sometimes. I know people that get annoyed that I won't eat a sweet or whatever.
There are also people that
for the most part
feel condemned. That's a real churchy word, but the way you eat can make other people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because maybe they feel like they should, or maybe they feel guilty that they not. Most likely, though, they probably think that if you're sitting there eating a salad and they're sitting there eating pasta and a steak, they think that you're judging the way that they're eating.
Yeah.
And the reality is you're not. You're just, if you are, stop.
But what were you going to say about food? You're saying something else.
I was saying that
people are
gonna people are gonna watch what you eat, and there are some people that, well-meaning, are never mind. There are some people in life that aren't well-meaning and will try to get you to eat whatever. Do not feel guilt.
Unfortunately, there are some people who are waiting for you to fail.
And hoping so they don't feel so bad because they failed.
Yeah, and it's awful, and I hope that doesn't sound negative of us, but that's just the way that it is. And we have seen that. We have seen, we've just seen it. We'll just say that we've seen it, okay? Yeah. We won't go into details. Like,
no details needed.
Tad person here. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Share this with a friend.
Share this with a friend, yeah.
No, don't do that, please.
Not everybody has your best interest at heart, and not everybody is rooting for you, unfortunately.
Ooh, also the WW haters.
Oh, well, that's another video for another day.
Find what works for you.
We'll make that one next. But yes, that's something too, is that I can't condemn anybody who's doing like keto if that works for them. And like I've gotten, just like we all find something that works for us. But anyway, we're all over the place here, but these are things that we had in our mind. Is there anything else, Hannah, that you want to add?
I don't know. Nothing that would be smart to add.
We'll just keep our mouths shut. We'll stop
it's not
it there.
For the internet. DM me.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, just do what's right for you. Find what works for your body. Stick to it. Make it part of your lifestyle. And I promise you there will be changes. They may be tiny changes, but eventually they'll equal up to something very big.
And the changes will probably change as you go through, because as you go through, you will learn the reason that I'm potentially looking at going no flour is it's an issue for me. Bread is an issue for me, and I didn't realize how much of one in the beginning. That's something that's personal and is different than hers. So do what you need to do for you.
Yeah.
Don't judge other people's journey, and don't worry about what other people say about yours. As long as you're doing what you're doing in a healthy manner and not beating yourself up, not doing it in a way that can make you sick or any of that, please do it in a smart way. But
yes. All right. Well,
that's all for now. I guess.
Is that all? All right, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then like this video, comment, subscribe, share, and all the things. And we will see you next time.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.